Welcome.
To the joy of coding.
Hello, and welcome to episode 340 of The Joy of Coding. My name is Mike Conley. It's so good to have you here. We're going to be hacking on some Firefox stuff. Classic Firefox hackery. Let's do it together. Let's jump in. Let me start by sharing my screen. Yes, it's September 27th, 2023, episode 340, and a reminder that no plan survives breakfast. I think I know what I want to do today. I think I know, how it might go, but maybe it won't go that way. Maybe it'll go sideways. Maybe it'll go forwards. Maybe it'll go backwards. Maybe it'll go upside down. Who knows? None of the stuff I'm working on has been pre-written, or I haven't done any, cheating in that, I know the solution before I do anything. I'm going to be working on it in the raw, as I like to say. So things might go wrong, and that's okay. That's part of it. That's the first thing. The second thing is that the agenda that we're looking at is something that's available to you if you're interested in clicking on links and stuff, interested in doing that. You can find a link to the agenda by looking down below. If you're on YouTube or Diode.zone in the video description, you can find a link to the agenda there. Or if you're on Air Mozilla, it's in the details section over there. Or if you're on Twitch, then it's down in the channel details down below. So what are we doing today? Well, the first thing I want to do is actually highlight that we had a release of Firefox go out yesterday. It's release 118, and it's probably one of my favorite releases in recent memory, because of a feature that went out that I hold near and dear to my heart. And you've heard me talking about it before, I'm pretty sure, but that is the built-in translations feature. Went out to general release yesterday in Firefox 118, which means that you can do translation of page content from some languages to other languages. Generally, I do that to translate from other languages to English so I can read them, but you can translate from English to French or something if needs be. And that's particularly helpful. And also, what I love about, page translation is not a new thing. Other browsers have offered this capability for years now. And the difference is that Firefox does it all on the client side. None of the text of what is being translated leaves your computer. What happens is Firefox downloads a trained machine, a trained model that knows how to do text translation and applies it, and generally does a pretty decent job of translating the page. I'll give you an example. Let's go to this Pocket article here about spicing up your life. I can translate this page from English, and I'm going to choose to translate it into French. I don't know if there's anyone here who's a French speaker, but this is now a page that is in French. And if conversely, if I go to French Wikipedia, let's find French Wikipedia, and let's go and look at some article here. I don't know what any of these things mean. In fact, let's translate this page. Let's translate this page from French into English so that we know what we're talking about. Hey, it's talking about the Tour de France. Tour de France took place on the very first one took place on June 1952 between the cities of Brest, which hosts for the first time the start of a tour, and Rennes, which is a city stage of the tour for the sixth time in its history. That's kind of neat. And it did all of that page translation without any of this text leaving my machine, which is really nice for privacy. It looks like a really excellent privacy characteristic. Anyways, that capability went out yesterday in Firefox 118. So if you haven't updated yet, I highly encourage it if this sort of feature would be useful to you. Another feature that is coming up, because there's a beta, with 118 going out the door, it means 119 is in beta. And there's a feature that we've been, a team, I can't claim credit, I have not been working on this, but there's a team at Mozilla who's been working on improving Firefox View, which you may or may not recall. I think it came out sometime last year. It was a page that effectively showed you your open tabs on other devices. And that has been revamped quite a bit now to show you not only tabs on other devices, but recently closed tabs, your open tabs in different windows. So if I were to open up a window here and go to the CBC, that shows up in here. And then if I go to Facebook, I'll just pick some pages. And then this helps to sort of see at a glance what sorts of things are open in different windows. You can close tabs from here. You can copy the links or move tabs to a new window, that sort of thing. You can see the tabs that were recently closed. I could restore them over here. And I can see all of my history, and if need be, I can import history from another browser from here. So that's the new Firefox View. It's coming. And currently it's slated for 119. That's the current goal, is that it's going to go in 119. So I'm pretty excited about all of that. Let's keep moving. Well, what are we working on today? We're back in the jump list tests. Where we left off was we were trying to... Oh, SmurfD with the nice ×2. Yeah, and that's not the only stuff that's going out in 118 and 119. These are just my two favorite things. If we look at the release notes for, let's see here, Firefox Beta. Let's pull up the release notes for Beta. And then let's look at the release notes for Firefox 118. Download Firefox. We can take a look at the release notes. Is there... C release notes. Here we go. Here are the 118 release notes. So automatic translation is the top line item, but there's some other great stuff in here as well, like some improvements to fingerprint protection if you happen to have that enabled. This is also helpful for making you harder to track when you're in private browsing mode. We've got support for video effects and background blur for users on Google Meet. Now this sort of applies not just to users on Firefox 118, but retroactively applies to everyone going back to Firefox 115, which is really great because that's the ESR. And if you're in US, I'm not in the US, but you'll be able to see browser add-on suggestions in the address bar if you happen to be using Firefox Suggest, and then a bunch of security improvements. And what else happened? Anything for developers? Let's see. In the web platform, 10 new CSS math functions were now supported. Orb, opaque response blocking is enabled by default. That's kind of a big deal. That's I believe that is a helpful security property. We now have the search element. What happened for developers? Math functions. Interesting. Keyboard event.key now returns a value of meta regardless of whether or not you're on a Windows machine or a Mac OS machine. That's neat. There's some WebRTC stuff here. Some new properties are supported. Yeah. You should check all this stuff out. Changes for add-on developers. Support for browser style and the manifest keys and sidebar action for Manifest v3 extensions has been removed. See Browser Styles Manifest v3 migration for information about transitioning from browser style and Manifest v3 extensions. Interesting. And Orb, to block as many opaque responses as possible while remaining web compatible. CSS, JavaScript, images, and media can be requested across origins without cores. Yes, we know this. Except for CSS, there's no MIME type enforcement. Ideally, we still block as many responses as possible that are not one of these types to avoid leaking their contents through side channels. So I guess that's what Orb does, is it uses MIME type sniffing. Interesting. I knew Orb was being worked on, but I didn't really know what it was. Okay, let's get back to what we were working on before, which is the optional arguments. So this is where we left off, was we were trying to, what we've constructed here are we have some Windows jump list shortcut description objects that one of which has just the required parameters, and we're trying to create one that has all of the optional ones. But the problem is that I haven't yet figured out how to actually set the optional parameters. The optional parameters I'm trying to add are like arguments, the M arguments, and I don't exactly know how to do that. So let's see if we can figure out how to set optionals. We were digging into this last week. We'd gotten to the point, I think, where I'd been reusing a pattern I'd seen in some of our existing C++. Candidate function, the implicit copy assignment operator. This is the current error that we're dealing with, is that it doesn't know how to deal with this. No known conversion from an NS auto string to a const optional. Because optional args. Yeah, it doesn't know how. Let's see if we can find some examples of constructing an optional. More examples. Let's look at more examples. Now these are all as arguments. This is maybe interesting. You construct an optional third arg. And what are we going to do with third arg? You pass it in as an argument. Let's just follow the breadcrumbs here. What? No. Get blob, perform data storage. A file name. If it was passed, then we're just getting the value. That's not quite right. What we want to do is pass it. Third arg append. When? So we're passing like an empty, unless this has multiple implementations, which it doesn't look like it is. So in this case, it's not passed. I think we're just satisfying the requirements of that particular function. So let's find another example. We want to see when something gets supplied. Here is maybe the example we looked at before. We're creating an optional NSA string, and file happens to be an NS string. Maybe that's where I start. Can I say, like, well, first of all, what's the definition here? This is supposed to be a DOM string. And up until now, I've been using NS auto string for that. You know what I want to do, actually? I want to look inside the objdr and, oh boy, which one of these have we been building with? Default. Dist. And I'm going to look for Windows jump list shortcut description. I want to look at the binding. Here it is. There's the binding. Optional. So it uses NS string for optional. And let's see what it does. Optional M arguments. And it it doesn't do anything with it. Optional. We just refer to that. But it inherits from dictionary base. Where's dictionary base? Grep. You know what? We can probably look that up over here. Dictionary base. Dictionary base is a struct. It's just a struct. So nothing super useful there. But when the I feel like NS string. String. Optional. Wait. Wait a second. Mozilla sum. That's a maybe. Maybe. But that's not quite the same as optional. Optional. So some of these notions, like of a sum and maybe, these are things that we have in our code that we kind of borrow from Rust. Some of Rust's paradigms have been brought into like our C++. And optional. What is the Rust equivalent? What is Rust option? Standard option is some or none. So does that optional DOM Mozilla details an optional Mozilla DOM optional sum. So an optional, so there is like is sum, was past, mImpl is sum. Oh. Equals sum. I think this is how you have to do it. Optional. Optional head is a maybe. No, I want an option. Optional. Is some. That's a maybe as well. I swear, like that makes me think is some. Was past. MImpl is some. Base. Optional. These are different things that are optional. An optional base. Operator equals. If it's an NS substring, char T. reference and NS string reference. Which is NS string. Result. Some abstract string. And isn't that kind of what we're doing? We're saying, like, optional NSA string. Maybe that's enough. We're going to be trying a bunch of different things here until we get it right. Not a fan. No viable overloaded equals on M arguments, where M arguments is an optional NS string. So there's no overloaded equals, no viable overloaded, no known conversion from optional NSA string to optional NST string, char 16. For first argument. Optional. What about optional NS string? I'm really just guessing here. Just gonna make some guesses. Oh, that's interesting. Const optional media source get media source. Media source happens to be unoptional as well. Okay. Still not a fan of that. We'll find it. We're gonna find it. We're gonna find it. Ooh. No. Thought for a second there'd be some nice documentation. We're gonna find it. Can we construct, what is the constructor of an optional NSA string? Like, optional no, it just starts with null. And you pass in equals and then a pointer to an A string. Still was passed. M-impl. What would M-impl be? M-impl is a maybe an internal type. M-impl. When do you in place? Impl. When you construct return to. So internal type. You in place. You forward it. child's name is an optional. You can construct it and pass a string. Is that it? Is the fact so M arguments already exists. So is that the pattern? You dot construct it? Dot construct, like, can I go dot construct and then arg1, arg2, arg3, and s, like that? That would be lovely if that works. Maybe that's how you're supposed to use it. That's starting to feel right. So, still not happy, but far different in terms of the error messages. No matching constructor for initialization of NST string char16t. Construct literal string. No candidate constructor not viable. No known conversion from literal string to const char type star. So a pointer. Const pointer. Is there? I need more data. Need more data. I think we're starting to get close to something. It feels like we're starting to M arguments equals ampersand arguments too? No, I don't believe so. I'm pretty sure we tried that earlier. I mean, we can try it again if we'd like. But I'm pretty sure it's a uint 8t. And then we construct M reason. Construct. ML10N name, construct child name. Child name is an NS auto string. Oh. Okay. Okay. Error is what? An L10N overlays error. And that's a WebIDL, and it's a DOM string, and it's optional. I think I may have found it. I think we might have an example that works in the wild. So you construct an NS auto string, and then you pass it. That's what's happening in here. Child name. Let's see. Show me compilation. I need that Family Feud sound. I'm gonna need to get that for the board, for my soundboard, for when I get things right. Or wrong, because it's got the Family Feud wrong sound is amazing. It's so good. Hey, we're linking. This is good. Now, is it going to work? Who knows? But this is certainly better. Okay. This is promising. Promise? Hopefully you're not hearing a chainsaw. Our neighbor is like chainsawing something. Or like jackhammering? I don't know. Loud construction sounds. All right. Let's presume that this works. Oh, I just got a tea delivery. Thank you very much for the tea delivery. Mysterious tea deliverer. Now, presuming... I really wish this would hurry up. All right, here we go. Yes! All right, and it passed. That's great. So that's the pattern, gang, is we create an NS auto string with our args, and then we construct it. So what were the other optionals? The other optional is icon path. So we're going to pass that in. Icon path 2. I don't know why we were doing description again. That was probably from... Oh, no, we were doing description. We're going to go desk2.m iconpath.construct icon path 2. And that should do it. That should do it. And presuming that does it, then we have, I think, done a reasonably decent job of testing just populating with tasks, and we can move on to our next test, which will test just custom entries, and then we're going to test both. And that'll do it for populate jump list, I think. Okra says it's audible but not loud. Well, apologies on behalf of my neighbor. They mean well. Okay, that's great. That's great. Good job. Let's move on to the next test then. We're going to copy a lot of this boilerplate. Test calling populate jump list with only custom tasks, custom items, and no tasks. This should call the following methods on the back end in order: abort list, begin list, and then I believe it should call begin list, and then it'll construct our items, and it eventually will call append category. Append category. Append category. How many times will it do that? It'll do that just the once, I believe. It's not in a loop. We can just add the one special category. And then commit list, and then it's done. This should result in a jump list with just custom tasks, custom items shown to the user, and no tasks. Okay. My first test, custom task. Custom task. It's a test description. My second custom test custom task. I wonder if we should abstract these out into some kind of fixture that we can, if we're going to keep using this pattern, that might be worth doing, so that we can like call a function and get an array back with these two items in it. We don't have to do this every time. That's worth thinking about. And we're going to append to the test desks, and then we're going to set the custom title to be my custom title. And yeah, instead of adding to task desks, which When did we define that? Up here, we're going to say custom desks. And then every time we try and, here, we're going to append them there. And then we're going to assume that add user tasks should be called 0 times. Let's just do this and see what happens. Let's see if that compiles. Quick shout out to everyone in the chat. Y'all, I mean, the people who've been with me in particular since the very beginning of this jump list stuff over a year ago. Special shout out for sticking it out. I hope this has been interesting. I don't know if I'll ever do such a long-winded stream only project, and it feels wrong to like start working on this outside of the stream. Oh, I need to give this a different name. Jump list only custom items. So I hope it's been somewhat interesting. I suspect we will be done-ish. Like, my goal is to have this start to roll out sometime in Q1. That it'll be done, it'll have gone through the review, and everything will be landed in a release, and we can like start rolling it out. Did you know the jump list work would take this long when you started it? No, I did not know how long it would take. I did not expect it to take this long. I didn't expect to have to like build it one way and then tear it down when I realized I couldn't test it properly. I did not expect that. Did I do this wrong? What's it complaining about? There's something wrong with these braces. I must have done this wrong somewhere. Somewhere in here there's something wrong. What could it be? See, like that's fine, but then this breaks that brace. Is it? Yes, it's in there. Where could it be? I just touched add user tasks times 0. Is it these expects? Because I just touched those. Yes, it is. And is it the add user tasks one? Yep. So there's something in here that's wrong. Oh, I'm missing a parentheses. That's the problem. Yes, Akris already knew. As usual, Akris spotted it probably about a minute before I saw it. Eagle eyes. Yeah, did I know the jump list work would take this long? No, I did not. I didn't know how long it would take. I knew it was a complicated project that was going to take me outside of my comfort zone. Like, I've learned a lot just doing this stuff. I don't normally write C++ that... Oh, did I name it wrong? Tasks. Yeah. I don't normally write native code at this depth where I'm like constructing JavaScript promises and like I've done it before, but I think this is probably the most complicated one I've ever written. And yeah, it's taken me way outside of my comfort zone doing like multi-threading and using all of these bindings and mechanisms to make it easier to communicate with JavaScript, like promises and whatnot. And then Gtest is new, and the Gmock framework is new. So it was just like I'm still way outside of my comfort zone. So I knew it was going to be a challenge. I didn't expect it to take this long, no. But I didn't know how long it would take. I didn't think, oh yeah, this will be over a year. But I knew it was unbounded. It was a large challenge. Oh, okay, let's see. Mock function called more times than expected. Append category expected to be never called. Right, because we're using strict. Good, this is good. We can now append category. We expect this to be called once. And what's it supposed to be called with? How does this work again? Append category. With our custom array, our collection, and our title. So the first item, it should be like, how do we say like string equals shell links equal? I'll say it's like shell links equal custom desks, I think that's right. And then we need to do a string comparison. Oh, just desks. Just desks. And it's the reference to the desks. And for some reason, my VM is no longer responding. There we go. Or not a VM. This is not a VM. This is just my RDP. And now we need to do a string comparison. Now, append category, if I remember correctly, append category takes an LPCW stir, and we have a utility for comparing that, and that is the equivalent of stir equal. Yeah, so we're going to pass in that past ID, which is, okay, I see. Okay. So we expect custom title LPCW stir how did we do this elsewhere? It was like I just get a pointer to it. Okay. Title, custom title, native stir equals custom title dot get. Even better is I could do it this way. I wonder if it would accept this. Let's find out. Not just RDP, looked like your connection since the stream buffered here too. Oh, it's possible. The OBS is saying is not saying I dropped any frames, so that's good. So who's to say? Who's to say? I'm going to add a to-do to our list here to testing with optional arguments. Done. What's the other thing here? Factor out descriptions into a definitions into a helper function. That built, that passed. Woo! Okay, now we're gonna do both. We're gonna do items. We're gonna do 4 items, and then that I think will cover our populate jump list. This test calls to populate jump lists with tasks and custom items. Begin list, add user tasks, append category, commit list. Should result in a jump list with both built-in tasks as well as custom tasks with a particular label, with a custom label. Okay. See, like this boilerplate again and again, we're having to create it. So it might be worth it might be worth making this something that we can do like in a loop, and we can kind of do on demand, and maybe we get back like both an NST array and maybe we just get back an NST array. But let's do that. Let's do that after this. So let's construct a third and a fourth one. Now that I say that, that feels bad. Let's work on. Let's write our utility. Okay, so we want to return an array, an NST array of Windows jump list shortcut descriptions. Let's create our utility. And we'll call it what do we call it? Just looking around. Generate descriptions. Generate Windows jump list shortcut descriptions with a uint 32 of how many, and we'll return, like, let's look at an example of returning an NST array. Array. Do we ever return an NST array? I'm looking for any methods or functions that return arrays. Here we go. But basically, we need to create it, like instantiate a thing on, create an NST array and hand it back to the caller, like construct it, hand it back to the caller, and have the caller be responsible for destroying it. Like, this is one of those things that you don't really think about in JavaScript land. See, for some of these other ones, these are getters to existing NST arrays. Like, you're getting a reference to one that exists that is owned by a particular object, and that's not exactly what I want to do here. I want to create and return an NST array. Message helper. Init message, new message. We instantiate one. Don't know how that works. What else you got that has the word create? Get or create pool. So the other option, instead of returning an NST array, is you pass in an NST array, which then gets populated. which maybe is just simpler to figure out. NST array Windows jump list shortcut description. So this would return void. A array, and we'll return. Seen plenty of these where it's like an argument. We're going to return, we're going to take a reference to an array, and then we're going to for loop. Oh, did I lose again? Okay, I just felt like a little jitter there. Here's a for loop. We'll just copy that because I can't be bothered to remember how to do for loops in C++. For loop, right, I equals 0, I equals less than how many? Now this is interesting because we want to create and insert them into the array, and then they will come off of the stack. Let's see here. T array, marker, profile timeline, pop markers, add marker. I want to see what it's like whenever the function or the method inserts things into an array. Load result, load URIs. That's probably just not to insert something as an out param, but to like get keyframes. Here we go. A result. Assert it's empty. Set capacity. Append element keyframe object. Keyframe object is a rooted JS object. So maybe append element will do the right thing, because we're not putting pointers inside of the array. We're putting actual descriptions. So we're ultimately going to be copying, which is fine. I don't mind that. So let's see here. Desk. Jesk. I'm going to say test task number, and that's I think that'll work. Some test path, and we don't need the numbers here. Description. This is a test description for item. I think that'll work. Description equal that. Fallback icon index is 0. Now we've got some variations here. What we'll do is we'll do something kind of sloppy here. If I mod 2, then do this. Otherwise, if you're even, or I mod 2 equals 0. If you're even, do that. Else, do this. So we'll do all these things. Description, these are all mandatory. And we'll say if I mod 2 equals 0, or maybe we'll say if falsy, if not I mod 2. Maybe that's, I don't, that might be poorly written. Then we'll say arguments, we'll add arguments. And we will add the icon path. And then no matter what, I think we also have to have a fallback icon index. I think that's true. And then at the end, we array append element desk. Right? Does that, now we're not even using it yet, but does it compile? We'll want to document to do document. Lots of those. And if this works, then oh, it's not a pointer. Do I want this? Because it's not a pointer. Yeah, I guess. And if this works, then we can reduce our tests even more. We can sort of suck some of the air out of them a little bit. That did not compile. Don't be deceived. Unknown type uint, oh, uint32t. I wish if the compilation failed, we didn't see all of this. Like it should fail to actually run the test so that it's more obvious that the compilation failed. I don't know which ones. The linting will take care of the formatting. All right, supposing that that works, then we can go down to here and we'll say did it pass? Yes, that works. So then we'll say desks generate Windows jump list shortcut descriptions. We'll say, well, we're going to generate 2 and pass in our array. And then here, I think we'll have to go like desks 0, desks 1. I mean, maybe we could make this also part of the JS desks. So it would be task desks. Maybe we want to do that too as part of our helper. JS rooted. Oh, we need the CX. Oh boy. Call that desk.js value. And then we would say assert true. I guess we can do that. JS value CX desk value. And then we would say JS desks desk value. Something like that. So we'll need the JS context. Context ACX. And then we will need JS desks, which is an strarray JS value. So similar to this fellow. JS array. Maybe that's what I'll call it. A JS val array. And then what we pass here is we're going to pass in CX desks and test desks. Let's see if that compiles. I think that'll do it. And if that works, we can really sort of compact our tests, which will be helpful. It's linking, so that's good. Link! What are you linking about? All right, it compile. Oh, amazing. Okay, so let's do that again so we can get rid of all of this stuff. And can we? Not all of it. We need this part still. But we can get rid of all of this. Generate AC. We'll pass that to desks, custom desks. And then down here, let's compile that. And here we're going to be testing both. So we're going to do this twice. Okay, that makes sense. I don't think I've screwed myself here. So we'll say task desks. We'll define them all up here. Task desks. JS vals. Custom desk. JS vals. And we're going to do NST array, Windows jump with shortcut description, custom desks. And then we can get rid of all of this. And we'll say generate Windows jump list shortcut descriptions, CX. We're going to generate 2. Task desk JS vals. I'll do this again down here, but for custom desks and custom desks JS vals. And I expect this to fail. Let's see here. Add custom tiles should be. We expect shell links to equal custom desks. Add user tasks should be called once, and it should be shell links equal task desks. Task desks. Okay. Will it build? This is the will it blend of software development. Will it build? I think no matter what, I want to clean up some of my variable names here. Custom desk JS vals. Task desk JS vals. Ooh, not happy. Not happy about something. On line 589. Right. Task desk JS vals. That's what we should be passing here. And custom desk JS vals. That's what we should be passing there. We did the same thing up here. Just going to do it for all 3 of them. Task desks. Custom desk JS vals. This will be task desks. Right. And up here, empty task desk JS vals, custom desk JS vals. All right, let's see. These tests look very similar. Maybe there's some common code that can be refactored out. Well, we have been, like with constructing the Windows jump list shortcut descriptions, but maybe there's more that can be factored out. It's true. I mean, they're testing. There is a lot of boilerplate at the beginning, for example, that maybe we could factor out. I think these expects, we want them to be very explicit and not very abstract, because we're testing, like we want that behavior to be Clear. I'd say if there's anything that's like super boilerplate that maybe we could boil down further, it might be just the preamble up here to create things. And this one, what? Line 474. I missed one. The egg beater missed one. Once again, I said tasks, desks, and it should be task desks. They're both difficult to say. The ending too. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, the waiting for the resolver. Yeah, it's true. Maybe we could like wrap each of these tests to do. If this was JS, I'd wrap it in a function that does this, then like runs some function and then does this at the other side. Maybe we could do that. Let's maybe add that as an idea. We did this, so we can put this up here. Further deduplicate tests, especially populate jump list tests by putting preamble and postamble into a helper function. Yeah, that all works. I'm pretty happy. So I'm gonna amend, I'm gonna commit that. That's better. It's better than it was. So let's call populate jump list more or less tested. Main thread pointer holder. Do I need an? I'm gonna move this out. Move these out into a higher level of our to-do list here. This one too. And say that populate jump list is tested. What's the next one that I want to test? It is where's the IDL? Clear jump list. Let's do that one. That's the last big one, I think. Clear jump list. Okay, so let's copy a bunch of this preamble, or copy boilerplate again. We're just gonna start with that. Test calling clear jump list with an empty jump list. Oh, no, it tests calling clear jump list does the following. Calls the following. Clear jump list should call delete list and pass in the user model ID, and then that's it. Okay. That's it. Clear jump list or delete list. I think it was delete list. Delete list. Passing the AUM ID. Yes, yeah. This results in an empty jump list user. Okay, so here we are again. Here's the preamble. We don't need to generate any of this stuff. We're gonna expect set app ID is called once, abort list is called none times, this is called 0 times, this is called 0 times. Append category is called 0 times. Commit list is called 0 times. We expect delete list. And it's going to compare the AUM ID. AUMID.get times 1. And we're going to say clear jump list. And what do you pass to it? Clear jump list. Just a JS context and an out promise. Okay. Easy. Now we're cooking with gas. So we know what we're doing now. Spin until resolved. That should do it. Bill, oh, I amended. I didn't expect to do that, but that's okay. That's what I get for pressing up, then enter. I guess I should make sure that we're not calling delete list in any of the other ones. Delete list should be called 0 times in all the other cases. Okay, no good. It looked good at first, but it didn't build. And the problem, if we zoom out a bit, is that I've got the same name. Yeah, that the commit message was, or the error message is unclear, but its clear jump list needs to be tested. Otherwise, we're overloading the name. After this, it's time to clean up the patch and put it up for review. I think that's where I'm at. I want to like write all the documentation. Like there are a bunch of to-do documents in here. I want to write that stuff out. I want to get it up for review and have someone look at it and poke at it a little bit. No member named Gmock. Oh, I've got a mock out delete list. Of course. Mock method h result delete list, and it takes an LPCW stir. Do we never, I guess we never call append known category? No. Okay. I guess we don't necessarily need that then in our wrapper. We could probably just get rid of it. Well, if this is supposed to be a mirror image, maybe we leave it there. Maybe let's just leave it. And did get monitor ever get used? I think it did in the long run. There were a couple places where spinning the nested event loop or spinning the event loop was fine, but there was this other place where we needed to use the monitor here in construction, right? Yeah, because there was no promise to wait on. Okay, that to do document why we need the monitor, because construction doesn't promise that we can spin that we can wait on. All right. Build. I think what I'm gonna do. This has been a fairly effective episode. I think what I want to do, presuming that this builds, is post what we have for review, take a quick peek at it in Fabricator. I'm going to post it as a whip and start to catalog the things that we will need to fix before we actually request review. Write those down, do them. There were a couple of other to-dos in here, for example, like let's clear jump list. I think that's done now. Yeah. That's done, gang. Woo, 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 woo. That's done. Maybe think about deduplicating the tests further. There's something about NS main thread pointer holder that I want to think about inside of jump list builder. And then maybe all of our mocks should be strict mocks. That's something. Maybe we can think about these things next week to just clean up. But for now, let's post what we have just to look at it. So amend. Moz. What is the name of this patch? Does it have a bug number? I think it's just called G test time. Is it just a G test, or did I modify? It's just adding a G test. Okay, so I'm gonna create a new commit for this bug. Hello? Oh, come on. Not now. Internet? Did my neighbor saw through a cable? Okay, here we go. Respond. Ah! Okay. Write G tests for the new jump list builder. We use a mock jump list backend to act as the Win32 to act as a stand-in for the Win32 API for populating the jump list and test that it gets called with the expected arguments for each major function of jump list builder. All right. Moz, fab, submit, whip. And we can start cataloging. Oh, I haven't Moz fab submitted on this machine in a while. I have a feeling it's gonna. Is it gonna succeed? Sometimes Moz fab updating fails on this machine. Yeah, I have to do it myself. Pip 3 install Moz fab. Like, I think it has a hard time getting getting write access to a particular directory or something along those lines. long story short, I have to do it manually. All right. So this is going up for review, or not for review, but for us to look at. Next week, we can start going through all of our rename. Yeah, we can start going through all of the patches, looking for things to clean up, things we want to address. Give it one more bit of manual smoke testing, and then put it up for review. I think that's the plan. That is the plan. And who knows? Though that review, the revisions, my reviewers might have lots of feedback. Maybe we did this all wrong. We need to go back to the drawing board again. That's very possible. Maybe there's some serious problems with it. That's all very possible. I want you to prepare yourselves. Again, I've been outside of my comfort zone here. It's possible that there was a way simpler way of doing all of this, and I just didn't know it. We shall see. Wow. Come on, MozFab. Let's go. Well, while we wait for this to occur, just in case people want to check out the patches on their own, you can go to this bug in Bugzilla. Here, let me just link to it in the agenda. You'll see all the patches get attached here if you want to leaf through them. I'm going to put that around this item. So you can click on that, go to the bug, and you should see the most recent patches. It's just taking its sweet time. But while that does that work, I'm going to end the stream. Hey, thanks so much for watching episode 340 of The Joy of Coding. I hope that was interesting. I learned a lot. I'm glad we were able to figure out... Oh, so are you going to cover Jump from Van Halen when you're done with this patch? You bet. Jump! I might also, maybe we'll listen to Jump Around. Who's does, is that Crisscross? And then there's like House of Pain has Jump. I think there's a lot of good songs with the word jump in it. Submit your favorite songs. Hey, let me know what you thought of the episode and submit your favorite songs with the word jump in them. There's a link. If you scroll past all of this text, at the very bottom, there's a rate this episode link. I'll even put a copy of that link into the chat here. Link to rate this episode. Let me know what you thought of this episode, and I can work on improving the stream. Let me know if you have questions or things you want me to try and address on the stream, or let me know what your favorite song is that has the word jump in it, and I'll listen to it. I guarantee you I will listen to it. I might not listen to it on the stream. I don't want my stream taken down. Submit your songs to a jump list. Wah, wah. Amazing. I'm seeing people go like, they're putting their hand up. Godwoe and Mindstormer619 just did this. I don't know what that means, but maybe you're raising your hand. Do you have a question, or is that a celebratory fist bump? I don't know. I'm presuming that's like Twitch speak. I don't know what that means. So let me know in the chat if what's going on. But we are ending the stream here. Oh, you're just waving hi. Hello. Okay. Hello. I've been doing this for years. I still don't understand Twitch chat culture. Thanks again for watching. I hopefully will be able to put this stuff all up for review next week. And while we're waiting on review, we can do some other stuff maybe. Who knows? Or not. We'll see. And yeah, we're out of here. Thanks so much again, and we'll hopefully see you next week. Take care, everybody. Let me just change to this. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
The joy of coding.
See ya.